Welcome to Beyond Brave. I'm Kyla, and here's where we dive into stories of hope, bravery.
But if you want it to be perfect, you can make it perfect.
Hey, welcome back to part 2 of our Q&A.
Yes, I have conjured up some questions, and we are going to touch on all of the questions I had from my Instagram community.
Is this so you went on your Instagram
Mm-hmm.
and you said, give us Q&A.
Yep.
Are you doing every single question?
Yeah.
So no matter what, the next time you put it out there, you will read their question. This is like in Ron Burgundy. Remember Ron
No. What?
What's the movie? The Anchorman?
Yeah.
Whatever you put on
Put
the
a glass case of emotion.
Yeah. Whatever you put on the teleprompter,
You read.
Ron will say. Kyla will. Whatever you put in the Q&A, Kyla will.
100%. 100%. Well, so in part 1, I had a list of questions there that kind of related to each other. And so when I looked at all 30 to 40 questions I had from my question box on Instagram,
Mhm.
I kind of picked some out for part 1 that kind of meshed together. And then I picked some out for this part that meshed together.
There's themes.
There's themes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The first part 1 was a little heavier.
So let me guess.
This one's going to be lighter.
Well, okay. So, was that the heavy? I was going to guess what the themes were.
Okay, we'll go.
But you don't have a word. Do you have a word attached to each one?
Yeah, the first one is more like marriage and us. And this one is more memories and Bella.
Okay, I guess I won't bother guessing then.
Okay, yeah. I just told you. I'm so sorry. I busted your bubble.
No, I'm glad. I don't know why I would try that. The pressure was too much anyways.
All right. Yeah, this one's more light and fun and has to do with memories of our Bella and everything like that. And they're real good questions. I really like them and I want to answer them.
Okay.
All right. We're going to start off with our favorite hospital memory of Bella. I could not think of one. I literally have 6 written down.
That's okay.
Do you want me to go through them or do you want to start and see if they're any one of my 6? Favorite hospital memory.
We had one Christmas in Calgary hospital, and it was just probably the most special Christmas. I think she was only 4, and I was so down. No, she might even been even just 3, and I was so down about all of it.
Yeah.
I was really miserable because we couldn't get home to be with our family for Christmas, and then
would have been our 3rd Christmas in hospital.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't know why this one stuck out so much to me, but then with what the Ronald McDonald House put on with gifts and activities and really bringing everyone together, and then we decorated Bella's room, and she was just more aware about all of it. She was really into the Christmas activities.
Yeah.
It just turned into this really nice vibe. And then at night, probably a lot of people don't know it, but if Bella was sleeping well, if she was feeling well, she would have overnight nurse. We wouldn't have to stay in hospital every single night if things were going tickety-boo.
Yeah.
And so we got out and we just went and had a totally different Christmas than any other Christmas. Yeah. And we went out.
I remember that.
And we did tried different drinks at
we did a fancy hotel lobby hop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
In downtown Calgary. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, Bella was maybe
but she was so
2, 3.
I think she was 2 or 3, but she
2, 3, yeah.
It was the first time I really saw her getting what Christmas was.
Yeah.
And she got really excited about the gifts, and
she dressed up as a little elf. It was freaking cute.
I think
we decorated.
I remember I remember even how you have videos of them on your phone, even, and so that sticks out to me as one memory that I love.
Aww.
Yeah, and it's kind of appropriate considering the time of the year.
Well, yeah, it is. Yeah, good. Yeah, I had.
What are yours, huh?
Okay, I'm I couldn't pick just one, you guys. I got a few. Good.
Well, I'm not sure that's why. That was just one that popped in my head.
Okay, maybe more. I'll come up as we chat. Hospital memories. There's so many memories. Her being, I remember the first one that came to my head was her. She was around the same time. She was 2, just old enough to walk. And of course she learned how to walk later. So yeah, she would have been 2. I remember us walking down the hallways at Alberta Children's Hospital, and she was so social. I mean, this would have been 2 years on isolation in hospital. And this was really her first chance at walking around and seeing people in public. She would not miss a person. She waved and said hi to everyone. And I remember walking down this one hallway back to the unit, and there was maybe 10 people. Hello. Hi. Hello. And it didn't matter. Like, it was everyone and their dog. She would stop, and it was so cute. And people would stop and look at her and just be like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. Everyone. Another one that was really special for me is when we were living on the oncology unit. So Bella had a bone marrow transplant. So we were one of the few on the oncology unit that was not there dealing with cancer. That was the year or two that we went through Bella's bone marrow transplant.
For her immune system.
For having been born with SCID, yeah. And so she was getting a bone marrow transplant, and we were on the oncology unit before, during, and after. And I remember, so she would have been between the ages of like 1 and 3. And I remember her walking around the unit. And so these are kids that are on strict isolation. So like the 200 days we had went through on strict isolation, like nobody enters your room unless they're fully gowned, gloved, booties. And for a little bit of time there, it was literally only you and me allowed. Nobody else, not even grandma, grandpa.
And the rooms were even pressurized, like positive pressure.
Yeah.
It was like a bubble.
Yeah. There was, yeah. Yeah. And so you had to limit the amount of people going in and out of the room. And the nurse.
Like COVID, everyone gets us. They're like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
But then again, like, totally sealed off. Yeah.
It was COVID protocol before COVID. Mm-hmm. This was like 2015, 16. Anyways, I remember the faces of the older kids, like the teenagers and the older kids on that unit, living in the same isolation that Bella did, like behind these glass doors that you know, it's like walking down a corridor, and it's like you could see the other kids in their rooms, and she would walk down this
right, because you would get a minute you had to leave your room to go do, you know, an X-ray, or you would get a chance to go maybe to the playroom.
Or you could walk if you were not sick or you were not on isolation, you could walk down the hallway to the playroom. You had to stay on the unit.
Right. There's protocols. Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw her just waving or like tapping on their doors and waving, because there was windows like on the bottom of the doors and tops. And these teenagers would like be so happy to see her. And I would talk to some of their parents, and some of them had a chance to talk to me, and they would tell me how this little tiny human, Bella, this little girl, was so happy and smiling, and they could see her going through what they were going through, and they saw hope, and it just gave them she gave them hope, and she gave them a fight, because they saw this little human in the same situation as them, and it gave them joy, and it gave them hope. And I think that will stay with me forever.
Yeah.
And then there's her telling Ryan Reynolds that her bowel transplant was meh. Sorry, baby, I'm making you cry.
No.
That was a great hospital memory. Ryan Reynolds, which, okay, I keep, you know, what do you call it? Keep fronting. I'm going to ask all these celebs to be a guest on our podcast. I actually have to put like that to like, I got to do it.
Put the wheels in motion.
Ryan, if you hear this, will you be a guest? This is your first invite. So
great.
Ryan,
that's what I need.
Yeah. Ryan in person, that'd be awesome. Or Blake. I mean, Blake would be amazing.
Come again?
Blake Lively, his wife.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. So Ryan was right after Bella's bowel transplant. Ryan was in Toronto because he is a huge supporter of Sick Kids Hospital and that foundation. And so if you haven't seen it, he does commercials that support them. And they're really funny and they're really fun. And we've worked with Ryan to help support Sick Kids Hospital through his Ugly Sweater campaigns. And so he knew Bella. And I remember that morning we were in her room, and the communications person, Sick Kids people, came into our room, and I was like, hey, and they're like, Ryan Reynolds is here and he wants to see Bella. Because we'd only talked to him online before this, like worked with like his people and our people and whatever through our TikToks and stuff. And she's like, but nobody can know. and he only has time to see Bella and like one other patient, and you can't say anything because as far as the public knows, he's here shooting a commercial, but he wants to make time for Bella. So the commercial doesn't come out till December. This was in September, August, September. And the commercial didn't come out till December, so I wasn't allowed to say anything for like 4 months. And it was really funny because I remember you had just left Toronto. You were literally just getting on the plane.
Yeah.
And Ryan was coming into our room to say hello. And he came in just to see Bella, and it was just the sweetest conversation. And Bella knew exactly who he was, and they just had the sweetest conversation. But a part of that conversation was Ryan asking Bella how her transplant went. And she's like, meh.
She was playing all coy.
She's playing coy. It went amazing. It was awesome. She's happy about it. She went on to like be more chatty, and it was just really, really funny. That was a good memory.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because Ryan, the way he is just so funny. He like took that and ran. It was just like a hilarious conversation after that and made us all laugh. And
yeah,
it was great.
I think he knew what he was kind of getting into with her.
Yeah.
I think that he could play it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like be fun.
Yeah.
Well, I guess of course you're gonna be fun. You're at a children's hospital.
Oh yeah.
What else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah. And like Bella wasn't nervous or anything. She knew who Ryan was, and so they just like the perfect little chat. It was really cute. I also have on here. The love she had for her child life team, and remembering the names of all of her medical teams and actually who the boss was, which was Maria and Dr. Vitzer. I remember her telling people Maria is the boss, Dr. Vitzer's the boss, and she would remember names of her nurses and her doctors from all of her care teams. They were a comfort to her, and just the way she would remember their names, I think meant a lot. And the way she would remember specific situations, like we go in and out of hospital and we come back in, and it maybe had been a few months, and she would remember their face, remember their name, and remember a funny situation and bring it up in conversation and make them laugh. And they'd be like, "What? You remember that?" I really like that. Those are really good memories. And then lastly was,
remember when she was asking who's the nurse?
Maria? No, Krista?
Yeah. And
her transplant nurse.
And she was remembering that when Bella, one of the doctors, went in and she quizzed the doctor.
Yeah.
What's your did Bella ask, what are your credentials?
Yeah, it literally.
Get in. What are you doing?
Find somebody who knows what they're doing. I want Dr. Vitzer. Just like, you're not the boss. Find someone who
was in that moment. Was she joking, or was she? I think she was joking around though.
Well, there was someone she was joking, but there was someone she wasn't. She was like, "I am not putting up with you. You don't." Because sometimes, like, I would feel bad for the newbies or the people like new to her situation, because she would sense that I was nervous, that I was exhausted, and sometimes I couldn't hold a conversation, and I would say out loud in front of her, like, I don't want to explain this, or it was something I'd already explained to that doctor.
You know what it was? Because a lot of doctors, a lot of the time, almost all the time, they have to do their assessment of her. They have to, get the blood pressure, listen to her lungs.
When the nurse had already done it.
Well, yeah, but they still need to do it, and they would just be repeating every single day, 4 times a day.
Yeah.
But then when she had enough, and then they'd have a doctor come in, and they would try to be really sensitive and soft, and Bella just get it over with.
Yeah.
Put the cuff on. Get my blood pressure done. Listen to my damn heart and get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
And they're like trying to treat her like not an infant, but like close. You know what I mean?
Like
because she's
soft,
so tiny. They're just trying to be gentle.
Yeah. And she'd be
soft,
like,
and she's like, just get on with this. Come on, let's roll.
Yeah.
I got shows lined up.
Yeah. I got things to do. You're the
Bingo's
10th person
coming on the TV in 5 minutes. Get out of here.
Yeah. You're the 10th person that's been in here today. I don't need you taking another blood pressure.
You would get mad at us because if I were in the room, Bella would look at me and we'd both just be like, "Oh, get out of here."
Yeah. Oh, she could. Well, that's what I was going to say earlier.
We had the same vibe.
She could sense our frustration. If a little bit of like, "I am done with you," came out in my eye roll, she'd be on them like white on rice. Like, get out of here. You don't know what you're doing. Go. Go. My mom's annoyed. I'm annoyed.
Yeah.
Peace. Peace be with you.
It's funny.
Yeah. Okay. Funniest. Okay. Meg.grace11 is wondering what our funniest memory of Bella is. Funniest memory.
Do you have some?
I do.
I should have prepared.
That's okay. I remember this was funny to me. This wasn't Bella trying to be funny, but for me, I found it funny when, like, of course, I knew she had dwarfism. She was wise beyond her years. She's like 96th percentile in expressive and receptive language. I remember I had an SLP tester. She learned to talk really early. Like, she was using more words than normal
Oh, yeah.
at 10 months old.
No, I think because she was thrust into our conversations all day.
She's around adult conversations from the moment she was born, right? Like, living in hospital. She's 20 adults talking in front of her and around her every day.
So what's funny about that?
Yeah. So she has dwarfism. She looks younger than she actually is. So when it actually came to the time where we could go out in public, like walk around a mall, and she was talking full sentences and looking like she was like a couple months old. Not only would she be walking, but then people would be amazed at her talking to me, and people would overhear me talking to her.
6-month-old.
Yeah.
Talking to you. Which is probably the same reason she got so popular on TikTok. Look at the 6-month-old drawing.
Yeah.
Right? Same thing.
Yeah, same thing. But it was like our first experience with that, like in public, where I would talk to her, and, you know, I would notice these people. They'd be like, oh, well, this lady's talking to her baby or whatever. And then she would talk back in a full sentence, and they would stop in their tracks and be like, what did I just witness? And their faces would just be like this shock. And I'd be like, I have a genius child.
What's wrong with your kid? Why aren't they doing this yet?
Yeah, oh yeah. It's just like, oh, the amount of times that happened, I was just like, this is hilarious. Like, people are just like stunned. It was so funny.
Yeah. I remember at New Year's just last year, she had this crazy poofy dress on. Oh, we were downstairs, and when she was going upstairs, all you could see was her butt just sticking out the back end.
Floof. Hopping up the stairs.
And she heard us all laughing at her.
Yeah.
And she couldn't stop laughing. And then she went down and up and down and up a bunch of times. Like, when she noticed that she had a funny bit happening, she would do it over and over just to keep the giggles. Yeah, keep the giggles. Yeah. Oh, she'd get the giggles so bad.
Oh, yeah. She would. We would always... It was what made her laugh a lot. She invented this game. We kind of invented this game, but I would say she invented this game. It's called What's Inside. And sometimes she would even start laughing, and I would start laughing because we both knew what this game meant. And it started with her realizing that I found it really annoying that she kept asking the same question over and over. She was a
pest. She did that to me too all the time with other things.
But then I would be like, oh, you're going to ask me? And then I would just keep coming up with things, and then I would Google, and I would try and like research what is actually inside, and then it would always get in this cycle, and she would howl every time I came up with something new. But it would be like, Mom, like out of nowhere, she knew it was like, she's like, I'm gonna get her. She's like, Mom, what's inside a shoe? And I'd be like, fabric. What's inside fabric? I'd be like, fibers. What's inside fibers? And then we'd keep going, and then I'd be like Googling on my phone, like, what's inside fibers? And then I'd tell her the scientific word. She'd be like, and then she'd just start howling. She's like, oh, I'm gonna get her. I'm gonna get her. That was a good one. Okay. Favorite memory from Disneyland. We were able to... Bella not only had a very, very successful bowel transplant in July, and we were able to be home by end of December.
Yeah, for Christmas.
In 2023, we were also given the okay to take her to Disneyland. So that close to just having a bowel transplant is like unheard of, but that's how well she recovered. And we got to go to Disneyland in February 2024.
And what was the best part of the trip?
What would
Bella say?
My favorite memory? Oh, what would Bella Oh, that might be different for me, but maybe the same. I remember the way that she hugged and embraced Princess Ariel when we went to visit the princesses.
Oh, right. At
I
your
for
breakfast.
No, not the breakfast. It was
Oh.
the one before that where you have to line up and they have this special like princess house and you can go in and you can see she saw Mulan, she saw Ariel, she saw Belle, Cinderella.
Mhm. You guys were
It was
all
like
about
a
the signatures and meeting them,
meeting the
which is
characters.
perfect for Belle. She can't ride on a lot of the rides,
Yeah, that was
and you didn't want
her.
to anyways.
She yeah, I can't handle those fast ones.
Yeah.
It was so important to her to she loved shopping and she wanted to see as many characters and get them to sign her book as she could. The way she ran to Ariel, she had a little Ariel stuffy, she had her Ariel dress, and the way she ran to her and the way they hugged.
What land was this in?
You and Waylon weren't there. It was right close to where you first come in. Like there's the Dumbo ride, and it was right behind there in that little nook. Right before, if you kept going to the right, it was the Western town.
Okay.
It was right before that in that little nook.
Frontierland?
Maybe. Well, it was before Frontierland. Yeah, the Western. Is that the Western one with all like the, yeah.
I can't remember what it's called.
I forget where the princess house was, but
Yes.
I remember her running up to her and it made me cry.
That was your favorite memory.
Oh yeah.
What was Bella's? I bet you it was meeting Halsey.
Oh, my word. Another celebrity that we are like I have no words. She wasn't just a celebrity. She was Bella's friend like from the beginning. She messaged us and support Bella through her bowel transplant and took the time. Like I messaged her, I said, "Hey, we're in your neck of the woods. If there's any chance you're around, we would love to see you." And she's like, "Actually, you know what? I can make this work." And she made it work. And we got to hang out with her
At our hotel room.
at our hotel room for an afternoon.
A sweet hotel room.
Oh my goodness. How did that?
I booked it, and then they
booked
found out. I don't know how they found out that the
They
booking
reached
was, but
back
they
out to
reached
you?
back to me. They
Yeah.
reached out to me, said, "Hey, we want to upgrade you," and they put us in this like penthouse suite. It was so cool.
I think we need
It
a
was very
full
cool.
episode dedicated to our Disneyland experience.
Oh, okay.
I think that would take like from start to finish. That would take a whole episode because there's so many amazing details to that I would love
We
to.
can show everyone a slideshow.
Oh, we could do a slideshow, you guys.
That is not just like the worst thing though to do.
Well, or they
Make
could
people
just
sit
like
through everyone's slideshow of their vacation.
they could just scroll back in time on my Instagram to
No, you can do something cool.
or a slideshow.
Yeah.
We totally could. We totally could.
Was Bella would have picked. Probably, I think I remember asking her, and she said Halsey was the best part.
100%. Yeah.
I remember that one evening, we went out for the steak, or we went out for supper.
Oh yeah.
They treated us,
What
and then
our hotel was JW Marriott, but what's
yeah,
the Marriott, right?
Yeah.
What's the chain name? Is it Marriott or
anyways, we went out for supper, and we got back. It was like 9 p.m. and Waylon was still wired. I was like, Waylon, let's just go back. We'll go.
Yeah, you guys went and rallied.
Yeah, we rallied.
Bella and I were like, we're going to bed. You guys went on like Space Mountain at 10 p.m.
We went on Space Mountain twice and like all the roller coasters.
Yeah.
We were just pals that week. That's right. Because we did all that. He wanted to do all his things, and so did I.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny. We were just pals.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
But we didn't spend too much time. We pretty well did everything together as like the four of us.
Oh yeah.
And then we would just like split off for, okay, well, we want to do this and we'll do this.
Yeah.
Maybe like
Couple
an hour
things.
or two. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that was fun.
Yeah. That's amazing. Where would we travel if money was not an issue?
Go back to Disneyland.
Yes. 100%. I want to go back there. Also, the Cars ride wasn't working.
We're so
when
creative and adventurous.
Oh,
Disneyland.
100%. Well, your favorite ride wasn't ready or wasn't working, or were they renovating
The haunted house?
Yeah.
No, my favorite ride. Oh, and that was Bella's favorite ride too.
Oh, sorry, your favorite
was
ride,
Pirates of the
Pirates of
Caribbean.
the Caribbean, but you wanted to do the haunted house and it wasn't
Yeah,
open.
that's fine. I think Disneyland's always that way. There's always going to be something.
Something. And Waylon's wasn't either.
Yeah.
The
I would love to
cars.
go back to
Cars
the
ride.
Bahamas. That's where we had our honeymoon.
That's 100% what I was going to say. I want to go back to the Bahamas. We were there for our honeymoon, 2 weeks. It was amazing. The beaches there. I want to go to the South Keys. We were in the northern part.
Okay.
I want to check out the southern where it's like just beach.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that
Okay.
would be.
Like Jamaica?
Jamaica would be fun. Bahamas or Jamaica. I don't know. I've never been to Jamaica. But oh no, Hopetown. Hopetown, Bahamas.
Oh, yeah.
Remember? That
Cool.
was like our best day. It was
Yeah.
this bright, beautiful, colorful town. And you could bike around it and we did the kayaking. And when you go out, when the tide's out, you can go to these sands
I know
and the sand, and then the tide comes in. It was gorgeous.
from a hurricane, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, and I don't think it's quite up.
Hopetown?
Mm.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
There's a lot of devastation. So we'd have to look and
Really?
see what it's like.
Yeah, because they were literally living on like a little like key set. Like that one hotel we stayed in.
I don't want to say that it's completely flattened, but I'm sure they've rebuilt. But I mean, you just don't know what's what right now.
When
over
you
there.
could like lay across, like basically the houses were the width of some of the islands.
Yeah.
You know, that one hotel we stayed in and where there was a bad windstorm, like the first night we started island hopping. Remember that? And
Yeah.
it was like we were right on a harbor and I was like, are we legit gonna blow away? Because you could walk to the other side of the island. It was like walking across your house was walking across the island.
Mm-hmm.
That was scary.
I'd love to go to like Germany or the Netherlands or like Belgium, that whole vibe.
Oh, if we went to Germany, we could meet Inga and her family.
Oh,
Bella's bone marrow donor.
yeah.
That would be amazing. I think if Bella wanted to go anywhere, I think for sure 100% she would want to see Paris, France for fashion, and New York City for the vibe.
Vibes.
Yeah. That's what she would say for sure.
What would Waylon say?
Disneyland.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Where, you know why? Because Cars wasn't open.
Yeah, I was saying that. Yeah, earlier.
Yeah.
The Cars ride wasn't open.
You were saying that earlier?
I did say. I said the Cars ride and the haunted house weren't open.
Oh, sorry.
So we got to go back. Yeah. What does Waylon want to do when he grows up? Lots of people were wondering this. And we asked him the other night. Do you remember that? I was completely shocked. He said police officer.
Yeah.
I thought for sure he wanted to be a race car driver and then a mechanic.
I think at 6 you don't really know what a profession is. It's like, I've heard cops are a thing. Maybe he had a cop in his class, like come in, talk to them.
Mr. Curdy, but
there you go.
I don't know if he ever sees him in uniform.
Who else?
I really don't know where he would have got that from.
Yeah, it's cool.
Ask him, but please, he was like, I was like, are you sure? Oh yeah, he wanted to be a police officer.
First time we ever heard it.
We didn't ask him why though. We need to ask him why.
You'll never get it out of him.
Ugh. Next pod. Why Waylon? Maybe it'll change completely.
Yeah, it won't be.
It might be something completely different.
He said race car driver before.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. And then he said mechanic the other day.
Yeah.
But when we specifically asked him, he said police officer. So we'll see. Not sure. That's where he's at. Do you like when Bravelings, so we're talking about like our Bella Brave community or Beyond Brave community, do you like when people message you randomly or does it make you sad?
This goes back to our Q&A, the last episode where I think probably is the same thing.
Well, that was more in public. What do you want people to say to you in public?
But I think they're saying messaging as well.
This is like, do you like it when people message you randomly? I'm like, personally, I try to check all my DMs. I like responding personally, and it matters to me to get to everyone that I can. There's been times in my life where like that's impossible, and I hate to admit it, but yeah, I've deleted like hundreds of messages at a time, but it's like you just can't get to everyone, especially when they're all story replies. But when I go when I finally have a chance to catch up, I really do love to go in and read these messages, and sometimes I find these messages and they are so healing and so meaningful. And they're my whole purpose. They're my whole purpose. They're what I've wanted to do from the beginning, is help other people with our story. So when I get that feedback saying, "Hey, I'm not very active on social media, but I need you to know this is what your story did for me. This is how you helped me through." That right there is everything to
So
me.
I'm getting a yes.
Give
Is
me
that what
a
you're saying?
yes. And because I hate the fact that, like, on TikTok, there's like, it's impossible to message people on TikTok. It's just like, that's not what it's meant for. Instagram has organized it really well. So I find it easy to reply to messages on Instagram. So I don't mind at all when people message me there.
Yeah.
And Facebook has also kind of been similar to TikTok, where it's just like so overwhelming.
Right.
So I actually included a highlight circle on my Instagram titled Purpose. And if you go through my highlight circles, it's the one with a heart and it says Purpose. And there I've saved some of these key messages that really, really touched my heart.
Mm.
Unfortunately, they only let you save 100 in a circle, but I have more saved in my phone.
It'd be hard to delete some. I mean,
You do, but yeah.
yeah.
I could probably delete a lot of my highlight circles. I got highlight circles from when I used to do Bella's ostomy care, and I would share that to help other medical parents. And
yeah,
if you really scroll back, I have even in there, I think I have like just like old memories
right.
that you can go through. But I don't mind at all. It doesn't make me sad. It heals my heart to hear
Well, you
from
wouldn't be
people.
on it if you did mind.
Yeah. And I do take the time. Like, there's, especially recently, like with grief being as heavy as it is, I'm just not your typical influencer or social media person. I will feel the fatigue of being online and just put my phone down and not post that day. But also, like, of course that's okay. But also, some people don't look at their Instagram every day. Like, one message I put out on Tuesday that's so meaningful to me, and I had the energy to do it and put it out there on my stories, say, someone on Thursday is not going to see it. It's gone. Right? So it's just like, do things as they come. Don't put pressure on yourself. I don't. Don't feel like you have to post something every day or share something every day. When it's too much.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah. I'm talking to you guys. I'm talking to
Oh,
you guys.
okay.
You know what I mean? So, like, if things were making me sad, I would, if I'm in that state, I already don't have the energy to reply. So I'm just, it'll probably just be left for a couple weeks. And then when I do have the energy to reply,
Yeah.
then I'm happy. I'm happy about it. I'm not sad about it. I'm happy about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that question was for me.
You like when I catch you up on some of the messages we
Yeah,
receive.
I do.
I definitely share them with Lyle. And if you guys want to message him as like a medical dad, maybe
Just DM Kyla and say, "Hey,
this is for
let Lyle
Lyle.
know. Let Lyle know." Oh yeah,
Or,
that sounds nice.
Now that you have an Instagram.
I know. I think I saw 6 messages on there. I'm trying to get to them.
So did the messages make you sad?
I just can't get to it. It makes me sad that I've.
Yeah. All right.
No, they don't.
No, they definitely don't. Okay. Recent touching on grief. We are, where are we at for?
Keep going. What were you gonna say?
That wraps up our Q&A questions. That wraps them all up. And then I just had one little bit left on here to say if we wanted to touch on anything related to grief. I know we didn't in the last episode, but any useful advice and information from our grief counseling session this week that may be helpful for anyone out there who is grieving a loved one.
Well, you go. I mean, I went into today feeling pretty good. And so I delude myself and like, I don't know if I necessarily need this. And then we go and I'm like, wow, that was great to go to.
Mm-hmm. I found that it's like, we had talked about it a couple episodes back about the seasons of grief and how I have that sort of like worker bee mentality, because you're just working to reconstruct your life now that your loved one's gone, to kind of lessen that pain of missing them. And I found today that Oh, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, I remember. Yes, it's back. Yay! It came back to me. That when you are in that you don't give your body and your mind the let out time. And I feel like with our grief sessions, like whether it's weekly or every other week, I feel like so much of my state is like holding my body, I'm holding it in, and it's like we sit down for these sessions and I'm like, yes, these grief therapy sessions are a need. This grief counseling is a need. This is when my body's like, let go. And I can't say a sentence or a word without starting to cry. And I know it's like a signal to my body to let it out.
Yeah.
You've been building it up for the week. Let it
Yeah.
out.
We always say put time aside during the day, and then we don't.
And then and then we get there and our group counselor, he's amazing. And it's just like, the whole hour I'm crying.
Yeah.
It's not that I am like, I could have this conversation outside of this session and not cry, but it's because I'm there. It's like signals to my body and my mind, like, okay, this is the time to release, and I do, and I need that, and I know I need that. But also, the conversations are so helpful in with everything. And today, I I was thinking about it too, and I'm just like, okay, even visiting with your parents over the weekend and seeing even complete strangers be so vulnerable as soon as they see me and well up in tears and start crying, and I'm just like this stone face, like, oh, it's okay, like I'm comforting them, and I'm like, don't cry, and I'm like not crying,
Right.
but it's like my body's just saving it for this like safe place, I guess, or this safe moment to just like let it all out.
Yeah.
I the main thing from that today was I realized how effective and how needed journaling can be for me, whether I'm writing it physically or typing it. I need to remember to take the time at daily or when I think of it to journal a memory.
Yeah. Same.
Because I,
Yep.
I think the hardest thing I've been dealing with is the negative memories taking over and not giving me enough of those positive, good memories. And so it's like a cycle in my brain. It's like going over and over and over again on these harsh, hard memories. And I just want those to stop. And I want them to be overlapped with good ones instead.
Yeah. I
And
I
yeah.
feel awful for you for that because I don't experience that the same way, but it would be infuriating
Mhm.
to have that
Mhm.
occurring. I mean, you had a lot more of those memories. You had more of those instances being in hospital full time with her. So, I mean, a lot of the really dramatic stuff happened, here too, and going in between hospitals.
Mhm.
But as far as just the volume, it can be overwhelming for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So our counselor had said, like, take that time. And then when you feel like those negative ones are just putting too much pressure and too much on you and they don't stop, then I can grab that journal and I can read and I can write and
Mhm.
overlap those negative ones with more positive ones
Yeah.
more often, which was really useful for me today. And I have a special little outro that I wanted to read today that I think you'll appreciate.
Let's hear it.
Well, I had two, but now that we did part one and part two, it's just one. So I think if I
Yeah.
pick the first one, I think it's the better one.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to say thank you for everyone who has listened to Beyond Brave. If you've enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. It really helps us continue to share Bella's story and keep her legacy alive. You can find us on all major streaming platforms. And for the visual experience, check out our YouTube channel at KylaCT #BellaBrave. For a closer look at our day-to-day lives or to revisit our journey, follow us on TikTok and Instagram at KylaCT and join the conversation on Facebook at Bella Brave. And here's the kicker. If you made it this far, the very end, I want to thank you by providing you a code for our Bella Brave merch, which you can find at www.bella-brave.com. This has drawings from Bella. Her merch has her fox drawing. That's on our crew neck. Her Be Brave shield on our hoodies or bunny hugs, depending where you're from. We have her drawing of her little bit of setback stick man on our mugs. Kid sizes.
What's the promo code, hon?
Oh, I'm just getting exciting sharing. Okay.
Holy moly. You thought I'd like that?
You're the worst.
It was really good.
Beyond Brave 10 to receive 10% off your purchase. But yeah, I was just really excited to, if you made it this far, that's a feat. So I was like,
I almost blacked out there. Make it that far. Holy. If you made it this far, hold on for 10 more minutes while I tell you what I have on my website. Here we go. Just Beyond Brave 10.
Beyond Brave 10, 10% off. There you go.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. It was really fun. We'll be back next week.
Yes, you bet. Until next time, thank you for being a part of this community